Today on Politics Unplugged, she's the former Marine Corps drill instructor trying to knock out Southern Arizona's incumbent congressman. We speak with her. Plus, we're about a week out from Election Day in the primary. What are the most important races, and could we see any surprises? The panel stands by to break it all down now on Politics Unplugged. And good evening, I'm political editor Dennis Welch. This is Politics Unplugged, and she used to be a Marine Corps drill instructor. Now she has her sights set on Congress. But to get there, she'll have to beat incumbent Republican Juan Ciscomani in the general election this fall. She joins us now to talk about all of that, her race, and what she wants to accomplish. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dennis.
And
for
let's start with the elevator pitch. What are you going to tell the voters out there?
Yeah.
It really succinctly, quickly. Why should you be the next congressman from Congressional District 6?
Yeah, well, I mean, first and foremost, I start with I am the proud daughter of farm workers, grew up in a small rural farming community in Pinal County called Eloy. You might know of it. And I went on to serve my country in 2 branches of service in the United States Navy and the Marine Corps. A couple of tours to Iraq and Afghanistan, and as you mentioned, I was a Marine Corps drill instructor. So I like to tell folks, not as lean, not as mean, but still a Marine. And it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, it's about the size of the fight in the dog. And, I am from the district, born and raised. I grew up in rural poverty. My family used safety net programs. And, for a really long time, I thought that it was, my parents' fault that they couldn't make ends meet. And it was only until many years later, that I realized it was a failure of government. And I want to make things better for folks in the district. And they're suffering right now because of costs, unaffordable health care. And now what we're seeing with the war in Iran as well.
All right, let's talk a little about some of the issues here now. Democrats are really running and hitting hard on this question of affordability. You're no different there. You have said that affordability and lowering costs is a big deal with your campaign, a top priority with your issue, with the campaign. If elected, what can you do to lower costs, particularly with housing and things like that? I think that's the big issue right now. What can you do? You're one of 435. You'd be a freshman down there. What would you be focused on?
Yeah, of course, lowering costs for folks is top of mind, and I do believe that Democrats, once we take the House back, we need to give Americans immediate relief, putting money back in their pockets. One way we can do that is actually, with tariffs. These tariffs are they're killing us. That cost is being imposed on consumers, and I will tell you, I went down to a grocery store in my old hometown in Eloy. And we walked down the aisle where the baby formula and the diapers is, and what we saw was formula was anywhere between $21 and $42. Now, for a mom who can't breastfeed, who has to rely on formula, that's a huge, huge payment, right? How are they affording this? They're not. And so, really, just number one, first and foremost, we've been going around listening to everyone in the district about the things that matter to them most, and this is the number one issue. So I think we can start with tariffs. We can also start with clawing back some of the tax cuts that have been given to billionaires. So,
and let me ask you a little bit about that. Do you think your party in Congress has done enough to push back against the Trump administration and allowing him to conduct these tariff wars, to start a war in Iran?
Well, look, I have been a critic of the Democratic Party because I do believe that we haven't made enough of an investment in our rural communities. We're losing working class folks. We can't just show up for an election cycle and then forget about folks in these areas. I grew up in a rural community. I understand the challenges, and it's a top priority for me. So, in addition to what's going on nationally, my main focus, though, is actually what's happening in the district. And I really do think that we need to focus on the district specifically because every congressional district is different.
And speaking of, let's talk about an issue that used to be a big topic, that doesn't seem to be a big one this year, immigration. Do you think the Trump administration deserves some credit for stemming the flow of illegal migrants coming across the border?
Well, that certainly was what they were telling us that they were going to do. Unfortunately, we have not seen that play out, and people in our communities do not feel safe. Now, look, as a Marine who did a couple of tours to Iraq and Afghanistan, national security and keeping our communities is the top priority. We were just down in Safford talking to their small little police department, 23 strong, Dennis. And what they were sharing with me is that, when they have support and there's investment at the border ports of entry, it helps them address any, fentanyl or human trafficking. And so we really need to make sure that we have a secure border so that our smaller police departments are able to keep the community safe.
And what do you think about the tactics of the current administration, the ICE tactics? We've seen another deadly shooting this time in Maine over the past week or so. Do you think it needs to be reformed, or would you agree with Congresswoman Grijalva, who recently said that she believes ICE is beyond reform?
Well, first and foremost, we need accountability. ICE agents need to be held accountable for the things that they're doing. If they are, deviating from the rule of law and the way that policy and procedure dictates that things should be done, so accountability, transparency, and of course we need to make sure that they're actually trained. I mean, there've been reports and we've heard that there were $50,000 hiring bonuses for people that weren't being properly vetted. And that is a huge concern. So I believe in reform for ICE because we do need to keep the homeland secure. And in this district, it's a border district. So of course, this is a top priority. Okay,
so let's talk a little bit of some politics here. Now, recently, the Democrats, there's been a big debate on how progressive someone in the Democratic caucus should be. We've seen some Democratic socialists elected back east. We even saw a Democratic socialist elected here in Tempe, sits on the council right now. I want to know and get your take. How progressive do you think someone should be in your party? Would you join the Progressive Caucus? What are your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, it's a big tent party, right? Democrats have pride themselves on being a big tent party and room for everyone. What I will say is that, the Democratic Socialist is a very small, tiny portion of the Democrats. And I firmly believe that, when government is not focused on the issues that are impacting people, this is what we get. We get extreme left, extreme right, and the issues that people really care about don't go addressed. So for me, I believe that the real work is in the middle, having those tough discussions with people across the aisle, with making, compromising on how you can get things done. And it's not on the left or the right. I mean, it's in the middle.
So to be clear, you would not be joining the Progressive Caucus if elected?
Correct, I would not.
Okay, and let's wrap up with this question too, because one of the first votes you may be asked to cast if you're elected would be who's the party leader in the House. Would you want to keep Hakeem Jeffries, or would you be looking to vote for someone new to lead the Democrats in the House, regardless of whether they take majority or not?
Yeah, well, let's get across the finish line first, Dennis. I need to win the election, which we're on track to do. And Mr. Ciscomani knows that. His days are numbered because of the number of votes that he's taken against the people in the district. So.
All right, Joana Mendoza, Democratic candidate down in Congressional District 6. Thank you very much for joining us here today. And still ahead, the primary election day is Tuesday. We're bringing in the panel to get their thoughts on some of the biggest races in Arizona. That's next here on Politics Unplugged.
Elections, more elections, and Hollywood mega mergers. This is your political roundup for the week. The Maricopa County Board of Supervisors and County Recorder Justin Heap finally reached an agreement to end their months-long feud over who controls the administration of elections. Both the board and the recorder will now oversee the counting of early ballots. Arizona joined 11 other states to try to stop a Hollywood merger valued at $110 billion. Attorney General Chris Mays signed on to a lawsuit claiming the blockbuster deal between Paramount Skydance and Warner Brothers Discovery violate federal antitrust laws. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs isn't known for speaking out against the current president, but this week she took a couple of shots at Trump and his administration. First, the governor had a simple message for the president about the 2020 elections. You lost, now get over it. Hobbs spoke up as Trump continues to falsely claim, with no proof, that the election he lost to Joe Biden was stolen. And finally, Hobbs lit into the Trump administration after it denied federal disaster relief for Gila and Mojave counties. Last year, severe storms and floods devastated the area, killing 3 people. And that was your political roundup for the week.
And it's now time to bring in the panel. Joining us now, Republican consultant Chip Skitari and Democrat Stacy Pearson. Thank you very much for joining us here today. We got a big primary election on Tuesday, a whole lot of stuff to get through. Let's start with some of the federal races here, and I want to start with Arizona's, fighting first congressional district. We got two.
My home turf. Yes.
We got, that's Fountain Hills, Scottsdale, parts of North
Arcadia.
Phoenix.
Thank you very much.
There you go. There you go. Let's talk a little bit about the Democratic primary and what's going on up there. A lot of attacks going back and forth. You expect that in primaries because there's not a lot of difference in policy in these primaries, so they really go after these personal issues. I mean, heck, they're trying to get Amish Shah's cat involved in this and sending out mailers.
But is the cat really a Democrat?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the big question I think we're all asking. What is happening? What are you seeing in that race as we head into the final day of this election?
My biggest concern is that we are 80-something days from general election mail going into mailboxes. And how these candidates recover, whoever wins this primary has to pivot immediately and shake off the mud that has been flung. I mean, this race in CD1 right now is a circus. I mean, between the cat mailers and who's got their MAGA hat in the laundry, I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah, and the Republican side, kind of the same stuff going on there. You got Joseph Chaplik, a former state lawmaker, running against a former field goal kicker in Jay Feely up there. What do you see playing out there? Because all indications are that Feely is the odds-on favorite with this one. He's got the name ID, the money, and probably most important, the Trump endorsement for this.
Yeah. I mean, if history holds what it's done in the last recent years, once you get a Trump endorsement in a GOP primary, it's like the golden ticket. So I'd be really surprised, even though Chaplik has really strong ties to the base and the activist class, I'd be surprised if Feely is knocked off in the primary. And I think when he goes to the general, charismatic, good-looking guy, he'll be a tough matchup for either Marlene Galan Woods or Amish Shah.
Is there anything you're going to be watching on election night? Vote totals, win margins, things like that? Because I think a lot of that could be tied to whether Trump is losing or gaining momentum or support in this district that's voted Republican for a long time.
I'm looking more about energy and enthusiasm than the margin of victory. Our friend Brian Murray had a great tweet the other day showing that independent voters are pulling more D ballots than R ballots. That shows that the enthusiasm is on the D side, even though the Republicans have a massive voter registration edge. So I'm looking at where the indies go. And
since you guys are both from the district, what's the issue that's most important to the voters in this area?
Oh, interesting. The economy, this is the wealthiest, most affluent, most educated district in the state. And so the economy is an issue, but to a smaller degree. A gas price that goes up 10% isn't as impactful on some of these households as they are in others. The bigger issue, I think, is going to be the wars, the endless tariffs, the just complete dysfunction at the federal level. And even though there's a huge registration advantage, that our district broke for Biden in 2020, then broke for Trump only by 3, broke for Sinema, broke for Kelly. So this district is used to supporting a candidate that is moderate.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about another primary race where I didn't think we'd end up talking about this, and this is CD5. This is down in the East Valley. This involves former Pinell County Sheriff Mark Lamb. There's been a lot of reporting about some allegations of misconduct about where he actually lives. Does he actually live here or in Tennessee? He's got a challenger. He's got some money. He's running a lot of ads down there. Do you see any surprises in this race on Tuesday night?
I don't, even though the Republic has done a great job of exposing some of, former Pinell County Sheriff Mark Lamb creepy behavior in the sexting scandal. He once again, President Trump, doubled down and endorsed him. And that goes way above. And then Club for Growth just put in, I think, $250,000 for him. So I think even though his credentials are a bit questionable, I think he'll still win, and then that district is so ruby red, the Democrats really don't have a chance in the general election.
Yeah, and do you see anything changing with that? As an outsider looking in on this, anything?
I wish I wish there was a chance that this kind of dark horse can come in that maybe isn't harassing confidential informants. I don't know. Whatever the stories were, but I do think that it's that Sheriff Lam's
and to be clear, this is such a ruby red district. Who wins this primary is going to probably end up, barring anything unforeseen, is going to end up winning the general election in the fall.
I mean, the math would indicate that's the case, but stranger things have happened. I mean, this is a district that recalled Russell Pierce once he stepped over the line. I'm not sure if Mark Lamb's behavior is there for the voters, but yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break here. And we just looked at some of the federal races, and let's look ahead now to some of the more important statewide primaries. And we'll be keeping the panel here, and that's next, right here on Politics Unplugged. And as promised, we kept the panel here, so let's take a look at some of those statewide primaries, starting with the governor's race. And again, thanks for not running off, and thanks for running through all these with me. And I think the top one on the list here, and the most competitive thing, if you want to call it that, is that Republican primary for governor. You've got top two candidates there. You've got I'm sorry. We've got Andy Biggs, former congressman, former state Senate president, running against current Congressman David Schweikert. I should say Andy Biggs is currently a congressman right now too. This started off like this was going to be a very heated back and forth between these two candidates. There were accusations from Schweikert accusing Biggs of hanging out with white supremacists and things like that. But we just haven't seen much action in this race. Huh?
As someone who covered a lot of Republican primaries for governor, Democrat primaries for governor, this is really a snoozer. I mean, it's very tepid, very tame. I think because Congressman Schweikert got in late, people are still baffled about why he got into this race, and you have to give credit to the Biggs campaign. They got in early, they were organized, they had Turning Point behind them. They have all the momentum. He's probably going to win by 30 or 40 points, if not more. He's already moved to the middle. You could tell in that PBS debate he wants to be known as bipartisan Biggs. So this would be a shocker if he doesn't win by a huge margin. Yeah,
and bipartisan Biggs, middle of the road
Bonkers.
Biggs.
Yeah.
Democrats
said no one ever, or anyone other than Biggs. This is insanity. Yeah,
I was going to say the governor, who we should say there's a primary, but doesn't have any challengers in there. She's raised a lot of money, and she's not going to let Biggs get away with that, I'm assuming.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, this is a guy who was at the Capitol on January 6th. I think there are lots of groups in Arizona that aren't going to let him get away with it.
Yeah, and he's got a long voting history too, which I'm sure they're going to bring up. But I was
going to say, Washington Post just came out with a poll this morning. It showed that 71% of independents disapprove of the job President Trump is doing. That's going to play big in the governor's race. So we'll see if Governor Hobbs taps into that, can win a huge portion of the independents over Biggs.
And again, Biggs is expected to win this bigly, I guess.
No Democrats are voting for him, though.
To win the primary by a large margin. How much does he have to run up the score before, in your opinion?
You mean the general election?
In the primary election on Tuesday.
I don't think it matters. He'll win by a big margin. It's really, I'm looking at what the base turnout is for Republican. Is it soft or is it strong? If it's soft, he's in real trouble come November.
And going into this weekend, Republicans' turnout, it has been soft. So there is a total ballot return advantage to Democrats in raw numbers, despite the fact that we have 300,000 less voters in the state.
And what's that tell you in layman's terms when you start saying that?
It is that even though we don't have competitive primaries at the top of the ticket, we don't have a Senate race this time, Democrats are turning in their ballots. They are showing up, even for nothing. I mean, to vote for the one mining inspector on the bottom of the second column, they're still turning in their ballots. It's a big deal.
And the other big thing is Donald Trump is not on the ballot. So some of those low turnout voters, those rural voters, maybe Hispanic voters, black voters who went to the president in 2024, they could stay home, and that would be a big concern to the Biggs campaign and others on the GOP ticket.
All right. We'll have to wait till the next show to go through the state mine inspector race.
It's very important.
I had prepped for 30 minutes on that.
We'll have to wait for the next show. So let's talk a bit about the Secretary of State's race. Again, Adrian Fontes, no challengers there.
Right.
All the action is on the other side when you have former party chair Gina Swoboda battling with current state lawmaker Alexander Collin to be the state's top election official. What do you see going on here?
Well, if you're the Fontes campaign, you have to be praying for Collin to win because he, participated in released the Kraken lawsuits, full-blown election denier. Gina Swoboda, actually competent, smart. We'll see what the Republican
was an elections official.
If she emerges from this primary and the polling's kind of all over the place, it will be a heck of a battle come November between her and Secretary Fontes.
Do you agree with that assessment? I mean, as a Democrat, you'd rather run against Alexander Collin than Swoboda.
I mean, look, the tide is going in Democrats' favor right now. So, and Fontes has done a very good job in a very difficult scenario. So I think he's fine. There's one, technically maybe two, but there's really one office in Arizona that a woman has the advantage in winning, and it's sexist, but it's true, and it's for a position called secretary. And so there is a couple points that a woman, anyone named Gina, or someone named Katie, now our governor, that women just have a distinct advantage. And so, I think there is the gender bias factor here that I think puts Gina over the top.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Attorney General's race. Now, this one is fascinating, the Republican primary for this. You have perennial candidate Rodney Glassman. You have the Senate President Warren Peterson. Now, the key issue in this race has been about experience, with both sides saying you don't have any experience. But the bottom line is none of these guys have real experience. Glassman has been an attorney in the military for a number of years. Warren Peterson's only had a law license or a law degree for a couple of years. What do you see happening here? Can Rodney Glassman kind of take this and win the nomination? That would be kind of an upset, wouldn't it? Yeah,
and unlike the GOP primary for governor, this one has been nonstop bombs throwing all over the place. I do think Senate President Warren Peterson will pull it out in the end because he has the establishment. He has more of a grassroots advantage. But, we'll see what happens. I don't know if Chris Mays, Attorney General Mays, cares who she runs against, but I think Peterson will take it.
I mean, Chris Mays doesn't have an opponent. How do you think she has set herself up for the general election?
Oh, I think she's in great shape. And much like the CD1 Democrats are going to have to figure out, whoever wins this AG's race is going to have to shake off the nonstop television ads about leaving wives and abandoning 5 kids, and I mean, this is going to be brutal for either of them that get out.
All right, we got about a minute left, so you guys, both old newspaper scribes with the ink stain, slaving over typewriters or whatnot. Want to ask you then really quickly, what do you think the headline is going to be come Wednesday morning when, Wednesday morning, the day after the election? What's the top line? What's the headline? If
polling holds out and some of these candidates win, Biggs, Collin, Mark Lamb, others, I think it's the MAGA versus the mods, game on. That's what I would say, short and sweet. Same question to you. Tapping your old journalism roots there, Stacy. Put in my recommended headline. I think it's going to be record turnout for a primary for Dems when there are no big contests, aside from CD1. I mean, I think the enthusiasm is going to give people hope. All right, we're going to have to end it there. That is all the time we have. But be sure to join us next week for more Politics Unplugged. Good night.